I still remember the exact moment they decided to let me bleed. Not metaphorically, literally. I was sitting in the Robertson family's mahogany-lined study, clutching my ultrasound photos, while my husband's mother stared at me like I was something stuck to her designer heel. My name is Fatima, and 10 years ago, I thought I was living a fairy tale. PR consultant marries into wealthy family. Happily ever after, right? Wrong. The fairy tale ended the day my doctor said, high-risk pregnancy. Mrs. Robertson, I said, my hands trembling as I laid out the medical documents. The specialists say with proper care and bed rest, both the baby and I will be fine. The insurance won't cover everything, but— Stop! Solstice raised her perfectly manicured hand. Let me be clear, Fatima. The Robertson family does not invest in potential failures. The words hit like ice water. Excuse me? Your pregnancy. She gestured dismissively at my slightly swollen belly. The medical costs, the business interruption, the possibility of complications. It's not a sound investment. I turned to my husband Archer, who stood by the fireplace, suddenly fascinated by his shoes. Archer, please, tell her. He cleared his throat. Mother has a point about the costs. Costs! My voice cracked. This is your child. Zane, my father-in-law, stepped forward. Our family's legacy was built on sound financial decisions, not emotional ones. If you choose to continue this pregnancy, you do so without our support. Choose? I stood up, my legs shaking. I'm 5 months pregnant. Then I suggest you start considering your options, Solstice said, checking her watch. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a charity board meeting. The irony might have made me laugh if I wasn't fighting back tears. Archer, are you really going to let them do this? He finally looked at me, his face a mask of practiced sympathy. Maybe they're right. We could try again when the timing's better. I walked out of that study alone, past the imported artwork, down the marble stairs, through the grand foyer. Each step felt like walking through concrete. When I reached my car, I caught my reflection in the window, mascara streaked, hands protectively cradling my belly. That night, I sat in my apartment bathroom, staring at the ultrasound photo. My baby, my daughter, was already showing signs of being a fighter. The doctor had pointed out her strong heartbeat, her perfect little spine. My phone buzzed. A text from Robin, my best friend. How did it go? I couldn't answer. Instead, I opened my laptop and started researching. Financial records, company structures, the Robertson family empire. Another text from Robin. Fatima, you're scaring me. Answer your phone. I finally called her. They cut me off, I said flatly. All of them, including Archer. Those bastards. I'm coming over. No. I was surprised by the steel in my voice. I need you to help me with something else. I need everything you can find about the Robertson Holdings Group. Every subsidiary, every shell company, every dirty little secret. Fatima. I'm going to build something bigger than they ever dreamed of. And when I'm ready, when I'm worth enough to destroy them, they'll never see me coming. What are you planning? I touched the ultrasound photo, tracing my daughter's profile. They called my baby a financial burden. Fine, I'll show them what a real burden looks like. That night, I made 2 promises. One to my unborn daughter. We would survive, thrive, and never need anyone's charity. And one to myself. The Robertsons would learn that their greatest mistake wasn't abandoning us. It was teaching me exactly how their world worked. I didn't know then that it would take 10 years, that I would build an empire from nothing, hidden behind shell companies and proxy boards, that I would become the shadow they never suspected, slowly buying up their debts, waiting for the perfect moment to reveal that their precious legacy now belonged to the woman they left to bleed. But that night, sitting on my bathroom floor, I knew one thing for certain. Revenge wouldn't be served cold. It would be served with compound interest. Push, Fatima, the baby's heart rate is dropping. 2 months after the Robertsons abandoned me, I was giving birth 3 months early in a county hospital. No private suite, no carefully chosen medical team. Just me, screaming through contractions, while Robin clutched my hand. I can't lose her, I gasped between pushes. I can't. You're not losing anyone, Robin snapped. Now push like your life depends on it. It did. Both our lives did. Hours later, I watched through tears as they rushed my tiny daughter to the NICU. She weighed less than 3 pounds, but her cry was fierce. I named her Kaya, Fighter. She's beautiful, Robin whispered, showing me the first photo she'd managed to take. She's expensive, I replied, staring at the mounting hospital bills on my bedside table. The savings I'd managed to scrape together were disappearing fast. 2 weeks later, I was back in my cramped studio apartment, pumping milk every 3 hours to take to Kaya in the NICU. Robin had set up a makeshift office in my kitchen, a laptop balanced on a stack of books. Look at this, she said one night, showing me a forum post. They're looking for PR consultants who can work remotely. The pay's decent. I was too exhausted to look up from my breast pump. Who'd hire someone who can barely stay awake? Someone who needs crisis management at 3 a.m., Robin started typing. Which, coincidentally, is when you're up anyway. She wasn't wrong. Between NICU visits and pumping sessions, I was already living on a nocturnal schedule. Why not make it pay? My first client was a tech startup, dealing with a Twitter meltdown. I handled it from my phone while sitting beside Kaya's incubator. The CEO never knew I was writing his apology statement one-handed, while holding my daughter's tiny fingers with the other. You just saved our Series A funding, he told me over Zoom. We need you on retainer. Word spread. Soon I was juggling 3 clients, then 5, then 10. I created an LLC, the River Firm, because it sounded more professional than sleep-deprived single mum working from a futon. One morning, as I was leaving the NICU, I caught a glimpse of the waiting room TV. There was Solstice Robertson, cutting a ribbon at some corporate event. Archer stood behind her, beaming, while the ticker tape announced their latest acquisition. Turn it off, I told the nurse. Please. That night, after putting Kaya to bed in her second-hand crib, I opened my laptop and started researching investment strategies. If the Robertsons thought PR was just about managing crises, they'd never learned its true power. Information was currency, and I was very, very good at gathering it. You should be sleeping, Robin said, letting herself in with the spare key. She'd been bringing dinner every night since Kaya came home. I just landed another client, I said. A hedge fund manager who needs reputation management. He's teaching me about market manipulation in exchange for keeping his name out of the papers. Robin set down the takeout containers. Fatima, did you know the Robertsons' main holding company has 3 shell corporations that are barely breaking even? One good market shift could topple them like dominoes. Is that what this is about? Toppling the Robertsons? I looked at Kaya's crib, where she slept peacefully, finally strong enough to breathe on her own. This is about building something they can't ignore or destroy, something bigger than their precious legacy. And what about her? Robin nodded toward Kaya. What happens when she starts asking questions? By then, I'll have answers worth giving her. I opened another browser tab. Look at this. Nicholas Norton is looking to expand his firm. He's been trying to break into the Robertsons' market for years. Fatima, I'm not going to strike now, I said, typing out an email. I'm going to wait until I can take everything, until I can make them watch as their empire changes hands. Robin sighed and handed me a fork. Eat first, plot later, and for God's sake get some sleep. You're starting to sound like a supervillain. I smiled, but my eyes stayed on the screen. Not a villain, Robin, just a really, really good investment opportunity. In her crib, Kaya stirred and cooed. My daughter, my perfect, precious financial burden, who would never know what it meant to be abandoned, not if I had anything to do with it. Mommy, why don't I have a daddy like Sarah does? The question hit me as I was helping Kaya with her homework. 10 years old now, she was perceptive, intelligent, too smart to keep accepting vague answers. Some families are different, I said, buying time. Like how Sarah has 2 dads, and Miguel lives with his grandma. But where is my dad? Before I could answer, my phone buzzed. Nicholas was calling. Again. I sent it to voicemail and turned back to Kaya. How about we make cookies? You're changing the subject, she said, sounding so much like me it hurt. Yes, I am. I kissed her forehead. And one day, I'll tell you everything. Just not today. Later that night, after Kaya was asleep, I finally returned Nicholas's call. The board meeting's tomorrow, he said without preamble. Are you sure about this? Just stick to the plan. Make the offer for Robertson Steel exactly as we discussed. It's aggressive. They'll fight back. I smiled into the darkness. No, they won't, because their Q3 numbers are about to leak, and when they do... How do you always know these things? I'm very good at my job, Nicholas. That's why you hired the River firm. The next morning, I watched the business news over coffee. Right on schedule, an anonymous source revealed Robertson Steel's massive debt load. Their stock plummeted. By noon, Nicholas's takeover offer would look like a lifeline instead of an attack. Robin burst into my office, waving her tablet. Have you seen this? Solstice is trying to shut down the Riverside Academy. I set down my coffee. What? She's calling it financial restructuring, but she's basically bankrupting the school to free up real estate for some luxury development. The Riverside Academy, the school I'd been anonymously funding for years, where dozens of single parents sent their kids on scholarship, where Kaya went to school. Show me everything. Robin pulled up the documents. They're using some shell company to buy up the debt, then they'll force foreclosure. Classic Robertson move. Not this time. I opened my laptop. Call Annabelle. Tell her we need those board documents now. Annabelle? The one who works for... Just do it. An hour later, my phone chimed. A message from an encrypted number. Documents attached. Don't make me regret this. A. I forwarded everything to my legal team, then called Nicholas. Change of plans, I said. How do you feel about adding a school to your portfolio? A school? That's not really our... The Riverside Academy. The Robertsons want it. I want you to get it first. There was a long pause. This feels personal. Everything's personal in business, Nicola. That's why you're going to win. Later that afternoon, I picked up Kaya from school. She was wearing the science fair medal she'd won last week, the one she'd earned by building a working model of the solar system. Mom, she said as we walked to the car, Sarah's dad says the school might close. My hand tightened on hers. That's not going to happen. How do you know? Because I won't let them take one more thing from you, I thought. But I just smiled. Sometimes you have to trust that good people will do the right thing. That evening, as Kaya did her homework, I sat in my home office reviewing the latest acquisitions. The River firm now controlled more assets than the Robertsons, though they didn't know it yet. Every failing company they'd abandoned, every debt they'd written off, I'd bought them all through various shells and proxies. My phone buzzed. A news alert. Breaking. Norton Industries acquires Riverside Academy, promises extended scholarship program. Below it, another headline. Robertson Holdings reports unexpected Q3 losses. I closed my eyes, remembering Solstice's words from 10 years ago. The Robertson family doesn't invest in potential failures. Mom? Kaya stood in the doorway, holding her science project. Can you help me practice my presentation? I looked at my daughter, brilliant, kind, and stronger than anyone knew. The best investment I'd ever made. Of course, baby. Show me how the planets move again. As she began her demonstration, another message flashed on my phone, from Annabelle. Solstice is furious. She wants to know who's behind the river firm. Soon, I thought. Very soon. Breaking news! Robertson Holdings under federal investigation for alleged insider trading. I muted the TV as Robin rushed into my office, practically vibrating with excitement. It's everywhere. Every major network, every financial blog. The journalist we tipped off really did his homework. Of course he did. I slid a folder across my desk. I gave him 10 years' worth of evidence. Solstice is doing damage control, but... Robin's grin turned wicked. It's not working. Their stock dropped 30% in the first hour. My phone buzzed. Annabelle. They're calling an emergency board meeting. Solstice is screaming at everyone. What's my next move? Tell her you've found a potential buyer for their Asia division, I texted back. Someone willing to pay above market value despite the scandal. Who? The river firm. I set my phone down and turned to Robin. How's our liquidity? She handed me another folder. Everything's in place. We can buy every major Robertson asset at fire sale prices. They won't even realize it's all going to the same buyer until it's too late. A knock at my door interrupted us. My assistant poked her head in. Miss McCarthy? Your daughter's school is calling. My heart stopped. Put them through. Mrs. McCarthy. The principal's voice was gentle. Kaya had a bit of an upset during family history presentations today. She's okay. But 20 minutes later, I found Kaya sitting in the school counselor's office, clutching her project folder. Baby, what happened? She looked up, eyes red. Tommy said his dad told him the Robertsons are criminals. I said he was lying, but then I realized Robertson is my last name too, isn't it? On my birth certificate. I sat down beside her, my heart breaking. Yes, it is. Are they my family? Before I could answer, my phone buzzed again. The news alert made my blood boil. Robertson Charity Foundation announces immediate dissolution of all programs. Mom? Kaya's voice was small. Are you okay? You look angry. I forced myself to breathe. Let's go get ice cream. Over triple scoop sundaes, I told her a version of the truth. Yes, the Robertsons are related to you, but they made some bad choices. About money, about family, about what really matters. Is that why we don't see them? Yes, and it's why you have my last name now. Because I promised to protect you from those bad choices. She poked at her ice cream. Are they really criminals? They're people who forgot that money isn't everything. I squeezed her hand. But you know what? Their mistakes helped me learn how to build something better. My phone buzzed again. Robin, you need to see this now. I opened the link she sent. My eyes widened. The Robertsons weren't just dissolving their charity foundation. They were liquidating everything to cover their legal costs. Their entire empire was about to go on the auction block. Mom. Kaya was watching me carefully. Are you sure you're okay? I smiled. A real smile this time. I'm perfect, baby. Sometimes justice takes a long time, but it always comes eventually. That night, after Kaya was asleep, Robin came over with a bottle of wine and a stack of papers. It's done, she said, spreading them across my kitchen counter. Every property, every company, every asset the Robertsons are selling to stay afloat. The river firm owns them all, through different shells, different banks, but it all leads back to you. I picked up the first document, the deed to the Robertson family estate. Have they figured it out yet? No, but Annabelle says Solstice is close to a breakdown. She keeps demanding to know who's behind the river firm. Good. I took a sip of wine. Because tomorrow, I'm going to tell her. Robin nearly choked. What? It's time. Set up a meeting. Tell them the river firm's CEO wants to discuss restructuring options. Are you sure? I looked at the family photo on my wall. Me and Kaya at her last birthday, both of us laughing. Then at the stack of papers that proved I now owned everything the Robertsons had ever valued. They called my daughter a financial burden, I said quietly. Tomorrow they'll learn what that really means. Robin raised her glass. To karma. No, I smiled. To compound interest. My phone rang at midnight. Unknown number. I almost ignored it, but something made me answer. Fatima? The voice was hesitant, familiar. Archer. My hand tightened on the phone. 10 years of silence and now this. How did you get this number? I had to try every contact I could find. Please don't hang up. I said nothing, letting the silence stretch. We're drowning, he continued. The investigations, the stock crash, everything's falling apart. She's not handling it well. Fascinating, I said coldly. Is there a point to this call? The river firm. His voice cracked. They've been buying up everything we're forced to sell. She thinks if we can meet with their CEO, maybe we can negotiate some kind of deal. Save something of the family legacy. I walked to Kaya's room, watching her sleep peacefully. And you're calling me because? Because I'm sorry. God, Fatima, I'm so sorry. For everything. Maybe if you spoke to Mother, told her about our daughter. Our daughter? The words came out like ice. You mean the financial burden you abandoned? That daughter? Please, just come to the meeting tomorrow. Mother doesn't know I'm calling you. But maybe if you're there, if you speak up for us. I cut him off. What time is the meeting? 10 a.m. at the Plaza Hotel. Fatima, thank you. I hung up and immediately called Robin. Everything's ready, she said before I could speak. Hair and makeup will be here at 7. The new wardrobe is laid out. Annabelle confirmed they don't suspect anything. Archer just called. Silence. Then, what did you tell him? Nothing, but he wants me at the meeting, to beg for their legacy. Are you going to reveal yourself right away? I thought about Solstice's face when she dismissed my unborn child as a bad investment, about Archer's silence as his family cast us aside. No. First, I want them to grovel to the river firm. I want to watch them offer everything they have to a stranger. Then, I smiled. Then I want to watch them realize who that stranger is. The next morning, I barely recognized myself in the mirror. Gone was my usual working mom look. Instead, I wore a steel grey power suit, my hair styled sleekly, makeup perfect but subtle. I looked exactly like the type of CEO the Robertsons would respect. Mom? Kaya stood in my doorway, backpack on. You look different. Just a big meeting, baby. Robin's taking you to school today. She studied me with those two wise eyes. Is it about them? The Robertsons? I knelt down, careful not to wrinkle my suit. Everything I do is about protecting you. Remember that. At 9:55, I walked into the plaza's executive conference room. Robin had arranged everything perfectly, the lighting, the seating, even the slight delay that would make the Robertsons wait. My phone buzzed. Annabelle. They're here. Solstice is already complaining about the wait. Good. Let them stew for 10 minutes. I watched through one-way glass as they filed in. Solstice, somehow looking both imperious and desperate. Zane, aged beyond his years. And Archer, fidgeting like the coward he'd always been. Another text, from Robin. Ready when you are, boss. I took a deep breath, remembering Kaya's birth. The lonely nights, the years of planning, every step that led to this moment. Send in the lawyers, I texted back. Make sure they understand. The River firm owns everything now. The Robertsons are here to surrender, not negotiate. I watched as 3 attorneys entered, spreading documents across the table. Watched Solstice's face fall as she realized her position. The CEO will be in shortly, one lawyer said. They've prepared a very generous offer. Generous? Solstice spat. They're stealing our legacy! Mother, Archer whispered. Please, we can't afford pride right now. My phone buzzed one final time. Robin. It's time. I straightened my jacket, checked my reflection. 10 years of waiting, 10 years of building, 10 years of planning this exact moment. Tell them, I texted back. The CEO is ready to see them now. I reached for the door handle, smiling. Time to show the Robertsons exactly what their greatest failure had become. I opened the door. Archer saw me first. The colour drained from his face, as if he'd seen a ghost. Hello, Solstice, I said softly. It's been a while. She whirled around, her perfectly maintained facade cracking. What is this? What are you doing here? Isn't it obvious? I took my seat at the head of the table. I'm the CEO of the River firm. Zane stood up so fast his chair toppled. This is impossible. This is some kind of joke. Sit down, I said, my voice steel. All of you. We have contracts to discuss. You? Solstice's laugh was brittle. You're behind all this? The takeovers, the leaks, the complete dismantling of your empire? I smiled. Yes, every single piece of it. Archer hadn't moved, hadn't spoken. He just stared at me, mouth working silently. Let me explain your position, I continued, opening a folder. The River firm now controls 87% of Robertson Holdings' debt. We own controlling interest in every subsidiary. Your family estate, your vacation properties, even your precious art collection. It all belongs to us now. Us? Solstice spat. You mean you? The bitter ex-wife who you left to die? I cut her off. The woman carrying your grandchild who you called a financial burden. That woman built this company from nothing. While you were cutting ribbons and hosting galas, I was learning every weakness in your empire. One of my lawyers slid documents across the table. These are your new employment contracts. Employment? Zane's face was purple. We don't work for you. Actually, you do. Starting today, you're middle management in one of my smaller divisions. It's that or unemployment. Your choice. Archer finally found his voice. Fatima, our daughter, is none of your concern, I snapped. She's thriving without you. Top of her class, talented, kind, everything the Robertsons aren't. You planned this, Solstice whispered. All of it. Annabelle was very helpful, I agreed. Amazing what people will reveal when they think they're impressing the right person. The door opened. Annabelle walked in, cool and professional. The press release is ready, Miss McCarthy. Shall I send it? Solstice lunged across the table. You treacherous little... Mother! Archer grabbed her arm. Stop! Sign the contracts, I said calmly. Or tomorrow's headlines will detail every illegal trade, every bribe, every dirty secret I've collected over the past decade. Zane clutched his chest suddenly, stumbling. This is... Dad? Archer rushed to his father's side. Someone call an ambulance. I was already dialing. Medical emergency at the Plaza Hotel, conference room 12. As paramedics wheeled Zane out, Solstice turned to me, tears streaming down her face. Are you happy now? You've destroyed everything. No, Solstice. You destroyed everything. 10 years ago, in your study, when you decided my daughter's life wasn't worth saving, I just waited for karma to collect its debt. With interest, Robin added from the doorway. Archer stepped toward me. Fatima, please. Let me at least meet her. She's my daughter. No, I stood up. She's my daughter. You're just the man who proved that DNA doesn't make a father. The contracts, my lawyer reminded everyone. Sign now, or we proceed with full disclosure. One by one they signed. Solstice's hand shook so badly she tore the paper. Archer couldn't meet my eyes as he scribbled his name. Welcome to your new positions, I said, gathering the documents. HR will be in touch about orientation. Try not to be late. Punctuality matters to middle management. As I turned to leave, Archer called out one last time. Was it worth it? All these years of planning just for revenge? I thought of Kaya, of her strength, her joy, her future secured by the empire I'd built from their ashes. This was never about revenge, I said. This was about justice and investment strategy. I smiled. After all, isn't that what you taught me? It's just business, nothing personal. The door closed behind me on Solstice's sob. Robin fell into step beside me. That, she said, was absolutely personal. Yes, I agreed, checking my watch. And I'm going to be late for Kaya's soccer practice. In my purse, my phone buzzed with news alerts. Breaking. River Firm CEO revealed. The greatest corporate takeover in history. But I was already heading home to my daughter. Let the world talk. I had better things to do. Mom? Kaya's voice cut through my thoughts as I sat in the school auditorium. You're missing my solo. I blinked, realizing I'd been staring at my phone, reading the 100th news article about the River Firm revelation. I'm sorry, baby. Show me again. She lifted her violin, and the sweet notes of Bach filled our living room. I forced myself to focus only on her, on this moment. The media circus could wait. My phone buzzed again. Solstice was calling. Again. I declined it, just like the previous 12 times. That was beautiful, I said as Kaya finished. You'll steal the show tomorrow night. Mom? She set down her violin carefully. Sarah showed me something on her phone today. About you. My heart stopped. Oh? She pulled up an article on her tablet. There I was, looking fierce in my gray suit, next to headlines screaming about the corporate revenge of the decade. Is this why you looked different yesterday? Why you've been getting all those calls? I patted the couch beside me. Come here. She sat down, curling into my side like she used to when she was smaller. The article says you took everything from some rich family, the Robertsons. Yes. Because they hurt us? When I was a baby? Before I could answer, the doorbell rang. Through the security camera, I saw Solstice standing there, looking decidedly less polished than usual. Kaya, go practice in your room, I said quietly. But Mom, please, now. Once she was safely upstairs, I opened the door. You've won, Solstice said without preamble. You've taken everything. What more do you want? I want you to leave. He's in the hospital, she said. Zane. The stress. He had a heart attack. I'm sorry to hear that. Sorry? She laughed bitterly. You destroyed our family. No, Solstice. You destroyed your family when you decided money mattered more than people. I just showed you the consequences. By becoming exactly like us? She stepped closer. Look at yourself. The power plays, the manipulation, the cold-blooded revenge. You've become everything you hated about us. The words hit harder than I expected. Before I could respond, I heard Kaya's voice from the stairs. You're wrong. We both turned. Kaya stood there, violin still in hand, looking so much older than her 10 years. Kaya, I started. Go back upstairs. No. She walked down, staring at Solstice. You're my grandmother, aren't you? Solstice's face softened. Yes, I am. And You threw us away, Kaya said simply. Mum told me the truth, about how sick she was when she was pregnant, about how you all abandoned us because we weren't worth enough money. It wasn't that simple. Yes, it was. Kaya moved to stand beside me. But Mum didn't become like you. She built something to help people. The scholarship program at my school? That was her. The new wing at the children's hospital. Her too. She makes things better. You just made things worse. Solstice stared at her granddaughter. This fierce, brilliant girl she'd never bothered to know. I'd like a chance to... No. Kaya's hand found mine. We don't need chances from people who only want us when we're winning. I squeezed her hand, fighting tears. Leave, I told Solstice. Don't come back. Don't call. Your new employment contract starts Monday. Don't be late. After she left, I turned to Kaya. How did you know about the hospital wing? She smiled. I pay attention. Also, Robin talks a lot when she's had wine. I laughed, pulling her close. Are you okay? With all of this? Are you kidding? My mum's like a superhero, a really scary business-suited superhero. Later that night, Robin came over with takeout and news. The press is calling you everything from a feminist icon to a corporate raider, she said, passing me the noodles. But get this, your stories inspired a wave of donations to single-parent charities. You're trending. Great, I muttered. Just what I always wanted. Mom, Kaya called from the kitchen. Can we have ice cream for dinner, since you're an icon and all? Robin grinned. The kids got your negotiating skills. I watched my daughter dance around the kitchen, still humming Bach, completely unfazed by the day's revelations. No, I said softly. She's got something better. She's got everything they said we'd never have. What's that? A future worth more than their whole empire. Your father's waiting in the lobby, I told Kaya as she packed up her violin after the recital. If you want to meet him... She paused, bow case in hand. Do you want me to meet him? This isn't about what I want. You're old enough to make this choice yourself. She thought for a moment, then shook her head. Not today. Maybe someday. But right now, I just want ice cream with my mom. Relief and pride mingled in my chest. Ice cream it is. As we walked through the lobby, I saw Archer standing awkwardly by the door, holding flowers. Our eyes met briefly. He nodded once, accepting Kaya's decision, then left quietly. He comes to all my recitals, doesn't he? Kaya asked as we got into the car. How did you know? I see him sometimes, sitting in the back. He never stays long. At the ice cream parlor, Robin was waiting with a surprise, the final paperwork for my newest venture. The Single Parent Investment Fund, she announced, spreading the documents across the table. Everything's ready. We launch next week. Kaya peered at the papers while demolishing her sundae. What does it do? It helps people like we used to be, I explained. Parents who need a chance to build something for their kids. Like revenge businesses? I laughed. Like any businesses, but with better support than I had. Except for me, Robin interjected. I was awesome support. The best, I agreed. Which is why you're running the mentorship program. My phone buzzed. A text from Annabelle. Solstice actually showed up for work today. She's terrible at filing. Mom? Kaya was studying me. Are you happy, now that you won? The question caught me off guard. Why do you ask? Because sometimes you look sad when you think I'm not watching, like you're still angry about something. Robin suddenly became very interested in her ice cream. I'm not sad, I said carefully. But you're right. There's still anger sometimes. Not about the money or the revenge, but about the time they stole. The moments they should have cherished with you and didn't. But that gave us our story, Kaya said, and now we can help other people write better ones. I stared at my brilliant, compassionate daughter, so much wiser than I was at her age. When did you get so smart? Probably around the time you were teaching me about compound interest using gummy bears. Robin snorted. Your mother would turn candy into a business lesson. Speaking of business, I said, signing the final document, what should we call the program participants? Not investments, Kaya said firmly, and not burdens. How about champions? Robin suggested. Perfect. I pushed the papers aside. Because that's what they are, people who just need someone to bet on them. My phone buzzed again. A news alert. Robertson Air Archer accepts position at River Firm subsidiary. He's really going to work for you? Kaya asked, reading over my shoulder. Middle management suits him, I said. He's learning what it means to earn things. And Solstice? She's learning that Karma doesn't care about designer labels. Robin raised her ice cream bowl. To Karma! No, Kaya said, raising her own bowl. To compound interest. I looked at them, my best friend who never wavered, my daughter who never broke, and felt something final settle in my chest. The anger wasn't gone, might never be completely gone, but it had transformed into something better, something that could build instead of break. To better investments, I said, raising my bowl, and to the people worth investing in. Later that night, as Kaya practiced her violin, I sat in my office looking at two photos. One was the old ultrasound image I'd clutched in the Robertson study 10 years ago. The other was from tonight's recital, Kaya on stage, radiant in the spotlight. I opened my laptop and typed out a new memo. The Single Parent Investment Fund is not about revenge. It's about recognition. Recognition that every parent struggling alone, every child labeled a burden, every dream dismissed as impractical, these are not liabilities. They are opportunities. And I intend to prove it, one success story at a time. Below, I added a personal note. Because sometimes the best way to heal old wounds is to help others avoid them entirely. Kaya's music floated through the house, Bach again, but this time with her own improvised flourishes, making something old into something new, something better, just like we had.